Hello, everyone. My name is Alex, and I'm going to share today our experience with building chatbot application based on medical rules approach. I'm very passionate building modern healthcare applications and have an experience more 10 years in health informatics. What we are going to discuss today is a real case with our partners, the Sovereignty Network and Curate. The Sovereignty Network is the winner of patient track of the last Dev Days event. What the situation is, we already had a mobile app that captured data from patients using regular questionnaires. Yes, it was a limited amount of forms and limited amount of questions because it's always a trade-off between brevity and fullness of medical information we are capturing from our patients. And the goal is physicians was not satisfied with the amount of medical details we capturing from the patient, and we need to come up with solution how to capture more data without overburden patient with new questions in forms, and maybe use conditional logic. Let me explain it using an example. We have a patient. For example, this patient has an arterial hypertension, and he can provide this information using a regular check-in form. And what we want further, we want that app understands that it is actually high blood pressure and ask patient some additional questions, like what related complications the patient have and what hypertensive meds he takes, and so on. And it would be nice if this app have some conversational UI. It's just for convenience for patient. And there is a solution. We tried to make it very flexible and used a rule-based approach for it. And in addition to that, we used medical terminologies, SNOMED, computer terminology, and we tried to create it supportable with no necessity to change the source code of the application to add new questions or to change existing ones. What we use for building our applications is a FireFirst approach. What does it mean? We don't use Fire only for exchanging data between part of systems or between different information systems. We use Fire for storing data and Fire API to interact between different parts of medical system. We have patient and questionnaire resources in our database, and using this data, we render the UI form, and we can save results in questionnaire response resource. But we don't just store this questionnaire response resource in database. We extract data like condition, observation, medication statement, and so on, using structured data capture in implementation guide. My colleague Ilya Bida made an amazing presentation today. Please refer to it if you would like to get more knowledge about it. Yeah. And after that, after extraction, we can save all these additional resources. It's much more convenient way to work with it later. Medical terminology is another important part for working this application. We used SNOMED computer clinical terminology for some reasons. The first reason is it's convenient to create implicit value sets. It's very hard to build hundreds of different value sets. You just using different concepts. It's much easier for, in some cases, to use a short query to get some implicit value sets and use it in our app. I can demonstrate how we use it using the web app we built for configuring. Now, let's create a value set that has all kinds of asthma disorder. To make these value sets expanding faster, we use 8box to cache these common used value sets. Okay, let's go further. Another important thing that we need some summation operation for concepts. It's very we have a lot of different type of hypertension, and finally we need to understand that it is all subtypes of hypertensive disorder and apply a certain rule for this SNOMED concept. And the third reason, SNOMED CT allows us to use multi-language and patient-friendly terms. For example, in these concepts, we have a lot of designations, and if we want to expand value set for patients, we would use this synonym for it, and we can configure it in query to terminology server. For terminology server, we're using Snowstorm. It's a very powerful and convenient tool to do it, and we interacted using FHIR terminology API. Let's discuss medical rule itself. Medical rule has some, first of all, it's a custom FHIR resource. What is custom FHIR resource? It's a resource that is not in FHIR specification because we need to extend some functionality, but it looks like FHIR resource. It has parameters and attributes like FHIR resource, and we interact and handle it like a regular FHIR resource. This medical rule resource has several sections. This source query section that is responsible for getting list of SNOMED codes that we are using to check code getting from patient medical history. It use match expression section that check the code we got from patient's condition we extracted at the previous step. And in this match expression, we just compare if this expression returns true, that means that this rule is matched. What does it mean that this rule is matched? That means that we can show related questions, and we can configure related questions using other sections. Let's create a rule for it. I would suggest to create a rule. Let's name it hypertension. Let's create match condition. Okay, for it I need some SNOMED concept. Yeah. Yeah, I need this code, and I can get all children of this concept. Let's test it. Nice. we got some concepts. And let's go to related question section. What we are going to do, we are going to ask patient about complications. I will copy. Now we need to provide some types of questions. Yeah, and provide a value set for it. It's a predefined value set made in the same way I showed several minutes ago. Yeah, and we also can configure some additional questions for it. Notes, attachment. Yes, and let's create a second question for medications. Yes, it's a hypertension mass trade products list. Okay, let's save the rule. And now let's go and provide some check-in form answers on behalf of patient. Maybe we need to provide some allergy reactions, but the main thing we need to provide high blood pressure. Actually, we can provide any type of high blood pressure here. And let's save it. We need to wait for a while when these rules will be checked. Let's discuss how it works right now. We have some event like some kind of questionnaire saved or new rule is added, and we have medical patient medical history, and we can extract SNOMED codes for it, and event can generate a resource that we use to start matching process, and we iterate through all medical rules to have outcome if this rule is matched. If no matches, it's okay. If some rule matched, we should show suggested questions. Yeah, and I'm not sure it's already matched. Yeah, it's already matched. We have some additional questions according to allergy and hypertension. Let's answer it. What complications do you have? Okay. This one and this one. After that, I need to provide some additional information for it. Yeah, and the second condition, ischemic heart disease. Okay, it's active, it's moderate. Can submit and provide information about medications. Terminology server provides a very good opportunity to search what we need. Using synonyms as well. It's very convenient, I think. Okay. We submitted data and came back, and actually analyzing these answers, we can get more and more additional questions for it. Yeah. We run out of time a little bit, and let me finish and discuss results. we got working solution around 90 rules already created. It's an alpha version, and we're going to go beta in several months. It's flexible, universal, and low code, because only thing we need to write ECL queries to create new rules. Of course, it's not perfect. Not all implicit value sets we can create using ECL, but it's a very promising approach. Let's save some time to questions and answers.
Thank you, Alex. Alex is joining us all the way from Siberia. So I see that a question has come in. So I'll read the question, Alex, and maybe you can answer. Which terminology server have you used for medication synonyms?
For medication synonyms, we use 8box. Snowstorm allows us to use non-SNOMED value sets, but for this app we used 8box.
Okay, any other questions? I see there are no other questions. Do you want to make some concluding remarks, Alex?
We have two minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If you have some questions or you would like to discuss it in more details, let's please find me using email, Telegram, or the conference app. Let's discuss it and find ways how we can do it more interesting and better. If you would like to go deeper to this topic, there is some useful links. The Snowstorm terminology server with very good FHIR terminology documentation. We can try to use FireFirst Approach if you haven't tried using 8box and tried to create custom resources. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Alex. I think we are almost out of time. Yeah. Thanks so much for that excellent presentation and the demo. Demos are always tricky and you pulled it off. Thanks everyone for joining us. Please don't forget to rate the session. And as Alex said, you can continue to ask questions on the HUA app and we can send it over to him or he can answer. Bye everyone. And this is Sadhana Alangar, HL7's Director of Education signing off. Bye Alex. Once again, thank you.